welcome Shane Crawford.
He's so good a mate of ours that we never hear from him.
Never see him.
Ever see him or hear from him.
Well, you don't need to.
Wayne.
It's great to be here. It's great to see you.
Where have you been?
I live up the top of New South Wales now, so I there's sort of no real need to come and go from Melbourne as much. So, yeah.
But you're a superstar here. You're 40. You did everything.
Well, do you know
and
what
then
happened?
next day you just packed up and left.
Yeah, but that's what happens when you got a family and they take off during COVID.
Right.
And, you eventually got to follow them up at some stage. So,
Are you married yet?
No, not married yet.
Oh, Jim.
What?
Poor
Four
Olivia, the
kids.
long-suffering Olivia. Yep.
4 kids.
Yep. No, we're happy if we're communicating, let's be honest. But the 4 kids, I've got one almost 18, Charlie. I can't believe it.
That's amazing.
Wayne.
It's a bit scary. And, and I'm like, oh, my goodness, I've got a 15-year-old and got twins that are 12 who they hate football. They're allergic to any sport. And my 15-year-old, who was half a chance to play a bit of footy, he's still playing a bit of footy, but he played in a rugby union tournament in Brisbane last weekend. I'm like, I've actually banned him. I said, right, no, you're out. I said, you move out of the house.
In fact, the amount of times, and you'd be the same, people ask you everywhere you go about the Footy Show and the Footy Show days and all the rest of it.
We were rocking. We had so much fun
No,
back
it was
in the day.
unbelievable. But everyone says, what about Crawford? And I go, mate, never hear from him, never see him, wouldn't know where he is. Someone said he's bloody living in Nimbin.
Smoking pot.
I haven't been to Nimbin since I've been up that way, but I do. I do want her down to Byron Bay, and you told me your daughter's down
Lucy's
there hanging
there,
out,
yeah.
so
Yeah.
I'll have a coffee with her next time I'm down that way. But no, just cruise around and float around. But can I tell you, back in the Footy Show days,
Yes. What was your favourite? Give us a
one of my
favourite
all-time favourites, and whenever you get a moment, get onto YouTube. I remember the world record attempt with the cream pies, and then we started throwing them at you and Gary, and then you tried to straighten it up, and then you caught one in the face while you tried to do something straight to the camera. That is just one of the greats, and we could never ever do that ever again because we destroyed the sets. It cost a lot of money, and it's just. You can't make TV like that, and it was
live.
unbelievable, and we had so much fun.
The funniest memory I have of working with you, there were 2 of them, was we decided because he was such an easy target to terrorise the Foss.
Yes.
So the 2 things, one thing he hated was anyone using his area.
Dunny.
His bathroom, you weren't allowed in there, it was locked. So we went and got from Joe the key. And then we opened up, he's had the big star on it, he had his big own bloody suite. We opened it up and got a couple of little mini Mars bars.
Yes.
And with polly waffles around there
Put
too.
them down into his toilet.
And he
And then
hated
locked
that.
it back up again.
He come flying out before this show, and he just totally lost it. But if you ever go on his boat, it's no pooing on my boat.
No,
Please go before you come on the boat. And he's got this boat that can
No.
take about 5,000 people on it.
No, he doesn't like that.
You know how to use the toilet.
What about the
What's
other
the point
one?
of having a toilet?
He was late to the table with the iPhone. Everyone else had gone down.
Oh, yeah.
So he was the last one to get an iPhone. And as you know, anyone who owns an iPhone, you can link up a photo of the person to when they ring.
Yes.
You know, so if it's Bill, up comes Bill's mush and all the rest of it anyway. So I stole his iPhone when he was off doing something, and Shane's grabbed it and got his number and name and taken a photo of a part of him that the Force wouldn't have wanted on his phone. And then we snuck her, remember? So we'd wait until he was in a high-powered meeting with David Gingell or someone.
Yeah. No, legal. Legal.
And Shane would ring, and up would come this photo. Sam would give it that one. Quickly put it in his pocket. And so we got away with it, I reckon, about 3 times.
It was good fun.
And he turned the corner, and he was roaring, wasn't he?
Oh, like he wanted to kill you.
Are an imbecile. And he said, and you are the president of an AFL football club. Get this shit off my phone.
What about the night when he came out in the Fremantle Dockers jumper and he stood in front of you on the panel? You pulled down his
He said we
shorts.
were tanking and we backed ourselves for a footy trip.
I think it was the first time they'd wear the new jumper with the anchor on it, and you pulled down his shorts, and he's sitting there in his jocks, and you're thinking, this
It
idiot.
wasn't jocks.
No, the shorts came down first, and then he just stood
in
there.
in his jocks.
And I thought, normally back in the days, someone goes to pull your pants down. You're not allowed to do it these days.
No,
it's illegal,
no,
so I would have been locked up.
So, of course, what did you
So
do?
I thought, surely if I go for him, he'll reach for the front. But he had his hands up in the air. I've gone for it, and by that time, there's about 6 cameras. They've all zoomed right in to get
And they had to
sort of
zoom
a
right
bit
in.
of an outline.
Yep.
And the pants come down. Obviously, Sam live on TV.
Nude.
There it
Yep.
is. And
That's
he was
it.
devastated because he said, look, it's been wrapped up in my undies for 10 hours. Of course, it doesn't want to look big and jump out.
If he knew that, he was going to give it a nice
Oh,
old
my
bite.
goodness.
And then Eddie, I looked at Eddie,
Oh.
and he was rolling on the ground. And I thought, I'm captain of Hawthorn. I've just
That's it.
lost the captaincy. I've just lost my job at Channel 9.
That's it.
I thought, oh, my goodness, what have I done? I had all these little meetings after the show. I thought, oh, this is a disaster. And then the next day, I got a call from Channel 9 going, good work. Keep up the good work.
That's the highest rating show we've ever had.
Keep up the good work.
That was one of the 3 that we had to have legal come down from Sydney. That lovely lady come down. We all had to be in the boardroom.
Yep.
Remember that? Because it was always Sam's fault, but we
Yes.
all were a team.
But then Sam would argue.
he argued with
Like
her.
he would go and have this argument with the lawyer, and we'd just sit there going, this is going to go forever. And the stuff he was going, why can't I say this? Why can't I do this?
Oh, mate. But that was, and she goes, I
should
haven't
have been
actually
filming
seen
that.
it. I haven't actually seen, you naked. So she got a VHS. She went into the next room because Sam said, you can't see anything. There's nothing there. You can't see anything. The legal girl from Sydney went into another room. 10 minutes. She comes back. She goes, Sam, I've just watched it 8 times. Have you got a dick? That's what she said. The legal girl said that. It was unbelievable.
And he was shattered. He was absolutely shattered.
Oh, the other one is the House of Bolger, which was your baby.
We love that. It was great to, like, the Footy Show at that time said, come up with ideas, throw anything forward. And
Yes.
I thought, right. So I love Days of Our Lives and, all of those shows. So I said, why don't we do it with footballers dressing badly, dressing up as women, which you're not allowed to do these days.
Joy Bell.
So
Not
Bill was my mother.
Was your mother married to Sam?
Yeah, that's right. And I can still remember you lying there in a dress, but you had sort of it pulled up a little bit. And then you had this.
Yeah.
You had these corn chips and you were eating
Off me gut.
cream out of your belly. It's the most revolting thing I've ever seen. But you're just sitting there. But you know what? It was fantastic. And we actually had Dwayne Johnson on one of the first shows.
Did we?
We
The
did.
Rock.
We had The Rock and virtually set him alight. He's one of the highest paid movie stars in the world.
Had some lovely girls.
We did. We had Renee, who was always on there.
Have we got any audio reps?
Dearest darling Deidre, my league football career in the Big Smoke hasn't gone according to plan. I did my grind when I fell off the mechanical bull during the club fundraising nude calendar shoot. Lucky Dad managed to get me a job running his multi-million-dollar fashion business. I don't know nothing about fashion, but how different can it be to captaining the Tookarook Tigers? All my love, Hank.
Hank.
What happened to his voice? But you know, back then it was all a visual thing. Like everything had to be a visual. That was always the idea. But it actually did quite well that they then brought in writers and they really stuffed it up.
They
They
did.
tried to get us to act.
We thought we were Hollywood.
Well, you did. And you loved, like, I've never seen someone love dressing up as a woman more than you.
Actually, Jim used to dress up as
Actually,
well.
Jim
And
didn't
you
mind
look
it,
good.
did
He
he?
actually
Morticia.
looked-
He didn't mind it back in the day, actually.
Morticia.
It was more Tisha and Sam one day.
He did. Sam was walking behind me, didn't realise it was me. He wanted to have a piece. Hey,
Even the Bee Gees, I remember you doing something with the Bee Gees. You've got a bit of talent there. I
He
reckon.
had
The Mankini.
now Wayne,
And he says, I hate this, but then he was probably the best at it by far.
your great friend, the Chief.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
He's
yes.
a legend in the Hall of Fame. Have
He
you
is.
reached out to him, the Chief?
No, I haven't. I'll see him tonight. I'm going to the Hawthorn Hall of Fame tonight, so he'll be there. So, yeah, I'll say congratulations. A great effort, wonderful player.
Oh yeah.
Luke
Oh,
Hodge.
you played with him.
I did. I played a bit with him. I kicked him the ball when he kicked his 1,000th goal. He still hasn't thanked me, but wonderful captain.
You'd have some stories about
No, I don't.
He
have
loved
any.
the supporters.
No, I tell you, like he
Loved the supporters, didn't he?
he just hates everyone. He even hated his teammates back in the day, and that me included. But no, he thoroughly deserves to be in there. But I do remember, like Craig Treleaven was a great fella from Esperance in Western Australia, and Ken Judge brought him across, and a beautiful, highly skilled player.
Yeah.
But they went on a footy trip to America, go and watch Green Bay and whatever. And Jock, we used to call Craig Jock. He said, I'm going to room with Dunstall.
Oh, no.
And no one wanted to room with Dunstall. We thought, you're kidding yourself. No, I'm going to drink him under the table. I'm going to show him, how the country folk do it. They were playing cards in their room one night. And Craig had a huge day, and he'd fallen asleep. So Dunstall said to one of the boys, "Get the shaver, get the shaver." So they're playing blackjack and playing for money and all that stuff. Anyway, so every time they do a hand, he'd lean over and he'd shave his eyebrow a bit. Got to the end, had the whole eyebrow off. So when he woke up later on, they were still playing cards. They were going for hours and hours and hours. He started mouthing off at Jace, and Jace just said, "Eyebrow, what?" And he's like, "What?" So he's charged off to the mirror, looked in there, and you listen to Craig Trelev, and he'll tell you this story. He said, "I'm not a very good-looking man, but without an eyebrow, I'm a really ugly bugger." So he went around America for 2 weeks with one eyebrow. He rang his wife, Katrina, back in Esperance. "What do I do?" He was in tears. And she said, "You need to go and buy a pencil." And so he was drawing on his eyebrow. Every night you'd go out. But the problem is he'd hit the dance floor.
Yep.
And so halfway through the night, his eyebrow would wrap down. It'd turn into a moustache. It'd go down his face. And that was all thanks to the big
The
chief.
chief. Hey, look,
He'll probably
Hodge,
deny
Well,
that, but
Hodge
that's so
gets
true.
inducted to the Hawthorn one tonight.
Yeah, see, I'm not sure about that because him and Mitch, they're traders. They went off to Brisbane and West Coast. So I don't know if that should be allowed.
Oh,
Well, I tell you what, I work every Friday night, as you know, with Luke Hodge, who's one of the greats, and as tough, if not the toughest
Yep.
player ever to play the game. The same man is terrified of Lauren, his wife.
yeah.
Shane, terrified.
Well, she rules the roost.
She does.
She keeps me in line. But when he first came to Hawthorn, he was seen as our saviour. And when I first saw him, he was a young kid from
looked like
Colac
Bill.
who liked to drink and
Frothy.
didn't sort of train too hard. And there was so much pressure on him. But I tell you what, he turned into our saviour. He was an unbelievable player, and he's a good man, Hodgie.
No,
So
great man.
looking
Tell you
forward to
what,
that.
Tim, what about this bloke? Well, used to take the piss out of himself. That's
Who?
what we loved
Me?
about Shane.
Yes.
But did a couple of the greatest things I reckon we have ever seen.
Ridiculous.
Two of the greatest charity run, walks, rides in history. The run from Adelaide to Melbourne
Yep.
and the bike ride from Melbourne to Perth.
Yep.
Do you look back on them? Because you were mentally gone after both. I remember you rode into the Perth one.
Yep.
You had no idea where you were, what you were doing.
I was so proud to be able to do that. So I was glad that Channel 9 supported me, and I know all you guys heavily supported it and got behind it as we were on our journey. But the run and the walk and run, that was the thing that really knocked me for six, because you're trying to crank out 80, 90 Ks a day and your body just doesn't recover. It's like you got growing pains all through the night. You don't sleep, and obviously don't have growing pains.
No,
So I'm
you
only a
don't,
small
because
man.
you never grew.
Whereas on the ride, it was like connecting with the communities and the little country towns, but just slow and steady, just
Yeah.
as long as we're going in the
Right.
right direction.
But you were into the breeze, went into the wind the whole way.
Well, we got told not to go that way
Yep.
because everyone comes the other way. But all the weather reporters get it wrong a lot of the time. And thankfully on this time they did. There was only a couple of days which were full on head into the wind. But apart from that, it was all pretty good. And, I was just pumped to be able to get out there and do it. And I'm so glad that I did.
Now,
It's
Wayne-
unbelievable to see.
I know, both
firsthand,
of those
Tim.
were nuts, ridiculous.
And he's still running.
AIA, tell us what's going on there.
So we've got the Mother's Day Classic coming up on the 12th of May. So all the money goes to breast cancer, and the most important thing with all that, it's about celebrating Mother's Day, getting behind. There's 70 events all around the country, city, and also in little country areas. Just jump onto the website. AIA, I do a lot of work for. I've been an ambassador for a long time, and they support a lot of great events, and that's just another event that they're heavily involved in.
Sunday, the 12th of May, around the tan.
Yes.
Brilliant.
mothersdayclassic.com.au, and you'll be there, little Wayne.
I'll be having a shuffle along. With you, Bill. You come along.
I can start it or finish it,
We'll
whatever
have
you want.
Have a coffee at the start.
And Kentucky Derby with Campbell Brown, speaking of
Well, that's debatable.
lunatics.
That's debatable. Now that I know he's going, I'm not sure if I can go.
You'll be there.
But no, it'd be nice to catch up with Campbell. I haven't sort of been able to connect with him. A bit like you guys for quite some
Long time. And also Dancing with the Stars in the
Yes.
can. When does that
In the
come
can,
on
yeah.
to
So
the
we were
screens
in
of seven?
Sydney for a little while, which I really loved. Benny Cousins. Hopefully you can get him in here. I think you'll find him really interesting and a lot of fun. All he
Yep.
does is smile.
Yep.
Lisa McCune, and we had James Stewart from Home and Away. So, yeah, no, it was great fun. Really enjoyed it. It was a great experience. It was difficult because we trained hard and trying to learn all these different dances and technique. I don't know.
No, you'd be
go
all
great.
right.
No,
you would be
No, but
good.
it's
You
a-
could dance.
Yeah, but there's dancing and then there's
Dancing.
technical stuff. You know, Viennese waltz. When I say Viennese waltz, what comes to your mind, Bill?
The waltz, with a hark of...
Okay, yeah. What about
Aaron?
the samba?
What?
The
Hark of
samba.
Aaron.
The samba.
That's a good bar in... Where's Lee Colbert got his McDonald's?
Mildura.
Yeah, sandbar. Good bar there.
The sandbar.
Sandbar.
Okay,
Not
that'll
the
do.
sandbar. That's down on the
No,
river
sandbar.
at
And now
Port
tell us why, Jim, please
Yes.
tell everyone out there why we call him Wayne.
Wayne, right, captain of Australia
Yes,
in Ireland.
yes.
Who and they're all get the big ceremonies about to start.
Huge.
So the coach,
Heaps
and
of media.
the team, and the media are all there, and
My proudest moment.
the Irish announcers giving it the and give it up for a legend of Australian football.
I'm
the
thinking,
captain,
how good.
captain of Australia, Wayne Crawford.
And I'm looking around, and all the Aussies had lost it. You know, all the Aussie media.
Wayne.
Harry Gary had lost it. Everyone had lost it. And I'm thinking, what do I do? So I just went for it.
Yeah.
So the Irish know me as Wayne
Wayne
Crawford.
Crawford.
Of course they do.
It's great to see you. You're
and now,
looking
Shane,
well.
I've
Not
got
bad
this. We were
for a
talking about
veteran.
Sam with the phone before. This is an iPhone.
Hmm.
The number that gets you to ring me hasn't changed in 24 years.
I actually don't have an iPhone, believe it or not.
What have you
So,
got?
Shane, there's nothing holding you up from ringing your old mates.
Yeah, and vice versa.
Oh,
There we go.
But
Hey, when did you ring me last, Bill?
Well, you know what? I ring to say hello. When you ring, you want something.
No, that's bullshit.
Yes.
When,
yes.
when did that happen?
Oh,
When
you
did
gave me some tips here. I'm just going back here.
I'll send you some tips from the horses, and I hope
Yes.
they lose, just to rub it in. So bring me.
4th of January, 23. There you go.
all right. I'm going to see here the text.
Crawf.
Yeah.
Why don't we get a group chat
July,
going?
2022.
22. Wayne.
That's the
What did I
last time
say?
I heard from you.
No, I would have sent you.
Jim, you're a legend. Wayne, great to see
Yes,
you.
bloody
AIA, how do we get involved in this on
Well,
Mother's
Crawford
Day?
is running the Mother's Day Classic this Sunday, or the Sunday the 12th of May, I should say, around the 10. By the way, they have raised $44 million for the National Breast Cancer Foundation since 1998. And this year, they're also raising money for ovarian cancer research. And you can join and register at mothersdayclassic.com.au.
All right, Wayne, you're a superstar. Well done. Good to see you.
Good on you, Jim. Love you.
See you,
Love you, Bill. Love you, Bill.
Shane Crawford.
Does he do this all the time?
All the time.
How do you do that?
Pull my pants down, Shane.
Shane Crawford on the rush hour. Triple
My
M.
pants down.